2020 is over, and in this video I'm going to show you how to plan for a successful life in 2021. If you are new on this channel, I officially welcome you. This is Das TV. This is the only platform where we make you understand that your success is in your hands. Before I take you through the concrete plan for a successful life in 2021, I want you to subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscription button right under this video if you are new on this channel, so that you can get any video I make. You see, I want you to understand this. A successful living comes with a concrete plan. A successful living comes with a concrete plan. Forget about being happy or living a desired life if you fail to plan. It is said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, and this is so true. And the purpose of this video is to teach you how to draw a precise, effective and easy to do plan for a successful life in 2021. As you know, 2020 is over, and as a matter of fact, you must design a new life for yourself, and that is what this video seeks to offer. Just feel comfortable, be at ease, and enjoy whatever lesson that is going to be said here. And I believe that by the time you are done watching this video, your life will never be the same. You'll be a complete person. You will learn something new that can better your life in 2021. Here I'm going to show you about 9 steps when it comes to planning a successful life for 2021. I have used these steps and it has really been helpful, and this is the same step I am using this year, and I believe that it is very expedient that I share the same plan or format with you. So in this video, as I really mentioned, that is what we are going to tackle. So as I really mentioned, I'm going to show you a 9-step plan for a successful life in 2021. So a 9-step plan for your 2021 lifestyle. This is really going to be simple and it's practical in a way. This is my own format, and I believe that sharing it with you will definitely help. It has been helpful. That's the way I plan my life. Probably that's the way I plan how to do things, and it has always been helpful, and I think I have to share that with you today. You see, 2020 is almost bidding us farewell. Probably, let me say today, it almost is over. 2020 is over. We are entering a new year, which is 2021, and it behoves on us to put pen to paper and design how we want our lives to look like in 2021. It is expected of us to know ahead of time what will be done differently from what we did in 2020. You know, 2020 is different from 2021. Definitely, we have the same months, we have the same days. As a matter of fact, the things that went on in 2020 might be different from what you'll be doing or what will be ensuing in 2021. So, it might happen that the goals you set for yourself in 2020 were not fully achieved. As a matter of fact, you don't have to dump such goals. They have to be carried out into 2021, so that you try your possible best to make sure that they are achieved. But besides that, you should understand that you may have a different idea, you may have different goals and objectives for 2021, and you must try as much as possible to perceive them too. So this plan will inculcate the unaccomplished goals you set in 2020 and the new ones you want to accomplish in 2021. So you see that this is going to give you a concrete plan. This is going to give you a precise and easy to practice activities for this new year. It is good to discover where we fell short and where our strength lied. That is why there is a need for a plan. You see, in your plan, or let me say, when you plan, you get to discover where your weaknesses lie and where your strength is. And that really helps, because when you don't know where you are weak at, usually people use that channel to take advantage of you. And that is why you must plan to discover what you are weak at and what you are good at. They are very important. I also want to say that it is also good to unveil what we decided to do in 2020 that couldn't be accomplished. I've said that before. You see, there are some goals you set for yourself in 2020 that were not achievable. Now, you shouldn't discard those goals except that you don't need them anymore. But then, if you still have the interest in pursuing them, then they must be carried out to 2021. And as I said, all those will be factored in the 2021, the plan, the 9-step plan I'm going to show you right now. So what I want to say is that we must evaluate the objectives we set for ourselves on the 1st of January 2020 and find out whether they were partially or fully met or were not achievable at all. So this is the purpose of planning. It has been said that if you don't plan, you are definitely bound to fail, because planning sets some kind of direction for your life. It tells you what you want and what you don't want, and that gives you some kind of guide as to what you must ensure in or what you must actually partake in, and those you should ward off. And that is why it is necessary you put up a plan in 2021. Carrying out a plan diligently means that we are planning to actually better our lives in 2021, and that is very, very important. It behoves on you today to give yourself some time. Spend a few minutes of your time to draw up a plan, to follow the guide I'm going to show you, so that you can draw up a concrete plan for 2021. And then know that whatever plan you are going to draw is your direction that is going to guide you. And at the end of the day, I will show you what to do to follow this plan to the core. And then let me say this: I'll be leaving the Word documents of the plan I'm going to talk to you about now in the description box. So I entreat you to download it and then just fill in whatever objectives you want and the reasons. State the objectives you couldn't achieve in 2020 and the reasons why you couldn't achieve them, and perhaps you try there's a column for the 2021 where you can set new objectives and then pursue the old ones as well. So just go to the description box and then download the Word document for the 9-step plan of 2021. Planning for 2021 is very simple with the method I'm going to show you in this video. It will be focusing on two significant things. The first will look at your actions. So the first one, we look at your actions. And here, the actions are what you were able to accomplish. The accomplishable activities. So you set objectives for yourself in 2020, and at the end of the day, you must try as much as possible to evaluate yourself. Try and see if they were achieved or you were able to do them. Now, those that you were able to do are what you refer to as the accomplishable. They were accomplished, they were able to be done. So on the 9-step plan, you'll be looking at those objectives you set for yourself in 2020 that were able to be accomplished, and then you also look at your inactions, which are those you couldn't accomplish. So they are the objectives or the goals you set for yourself, but due to one reason or the other, they were not accomplishable. So I usually refer to that as unaccomplishable. And you must not discard them. So what I want to say is that the 9-step plan for 2021, for the successful life in 2021, will be based on your actions and then your inactions. And I've really explained what they entail. So without wasting much time, we are going to zoom into it and see how the whole process goes. So first of all, let's look at this. I believe that you are going to follow every step I'm going to talk to you about here to draw a plan. Don't postpone it. Just as the steps are pronounced, make sure that you try as much as possible to draw your plan alongside. So now the first step you have to consider when you want to draw a concrete plan for 2021 is to first of all consider getting a pen and a sheet of paper. This is very important. Don't sit and plan off head. That wouldn't help. Get a pen and a piece of paper. If possible, try as much as possible to get an A4 sheet, a larger sheet that can accommodate whatever thing you want to write on that. Because at the end of the day, that is the guide that is going to usher you into a successful life in 2021. By the end of the year, which is 2021, you are going to pick that sheet of paper to assess yourself and see those activities or those objectives you were able to accomplish and those you couldn't accomplish. So with your pen and paper ready, now I would advise that you find a serene and then quiet place to carry out this exercise. I mean the planning exercise. It can be done in your room, perhaps, or a nearby church auditorium, or any other place free of disturbance. The general concept here is you should have a free state of mind to think and reflect on what you were able to do and those you couldn't do. So a serene and then quiet place is preferred. That is very, very important. So now with that done, the next thing is to create 2 columns on the sheet of paper, and let me show you that briefly. So assuming this is the piece of paper I have for my 2021 success plan, you create 2 columns. One column should be for 2020 and the other column for 2021, which is very, very important. Now one may be asking, what is the purpose of the 2020 column? Is to help you outline all the objectives you set for 2020, and then the 2021 to help you outline all the new objectives you want to achieve or the new things you want to do in 2021. So I believe that on your sheet of paper these columns have been created, and as a matter of fact we can start now. Now what we have to do here is to make sure that we write under the 2020 column all that we wanted to do in 2020, as I earlier on mentioned. So for example, okay, let me indicate it with numbers. My first objective was to actually, let's say, buy a car in the middle of 2020. So to buy a car, and the time bound is the middle of 2020. So now my second objective for 2020 was let's say to start my own business. So I wanted to start my own business. The third objective I actually ensued in was to read 20 books by the end of 2020. So for the sake of time, I want to speed things up so that we can finish on time. So now we are back. As you can see, in 2020 I had 8 objectives. The first one was to get myself a car in the middle of 2020. The second one was to start my own business, and I wanted to read 20 books by the end of 2020. I also wanted to start a new YouTube channel by December 2020. And then I had the interest of establishing a free blog and write articles. I also wanted to exercise 30 minutes 3 times in a week. And then I wanted a job by 2020 September. And lastly, I felt that my laptop battery was running flat, and as a matter of fact, I needed to buy one, get a new battery. So these were the 8 objectives and many more I set for the 2020 era. So now it's over. I have to assess myself. So this is the same thing you have to do on a sheet of paper. Make sure that you write all the objectives you set for 2020 under the 2020 column here, as I have done. So now the next thing we have to do is to actually fish out those objectives we were able to accomplish and those we couldn't tackle. So you do the same thing on your side. You have to make sure that you come up with the objectives you were able to accomplish and those you couldn't tackle. So for me, buying a car was not possible. I couldn't accomplish that. So I usually represent the unaccomplished goals or objectives by UA. So this means that they were unaccomplished. Okay. Talking about starting my own business. It was also not accomplished. At least it was halfway through. Let me put it that way. But I consider that as unaccomplished. And then reading 20 books. I couldn't match up to that task, so it was unaccomplished. And then I wanted to start a YouTube channel by December 2020. That was perfectly done. And that is why you are watching this video from my channel. And then the 5th one was to establish a free blog and write articles. That was perfectly done. And then 30 minutes exercise 3 times in a week. That was also done. And then to get a job by 2020 September, it was perfectly accomplished. And then to buy a new battery for my laptop, that wasn't done, so unaccomplished. So you could see that or from this I can count the number of activities or objectives I was able to achieve in 2020 and those I couldn't achieve at the end of the day. So that can help you determine the number of goals or objectives you achieved and those you couldn't achieve. So I had 8 objectives in all. Let's say I had 8 objectives in all. Now out of that I couldn't achieve 1, 2, 3, 4. So I couldn't achieve half of my objectives. On the other hand, I could achieve the other half. So I won't actually judge myself. I won't actually say I did well or didn't do well. But at least whichever way, I was able to achieve some of them, and which is a plus to me. That means that I worked really hard in 2020. So now that we know those activities that were achieved and those ones we couldn't achieve, I believe that you have done the same thing on your sheet of paper. So now the next thing is to make sure that whatever we couldn't achieve in 2020, we are not going to throw them away. You are not going to throw them away, except that you don't have the interest. But for me, I have the interest in buying a car, which I wanted to have in 2020, but it wasn't possible. So what I have to do is to indicate the number. I'm going to transfer whatever I couldn't achieve in 2020 to 2021. So I usually prefer to give my 2021 objectives, the objectives I couldn't achieve in 2020, as transferable objectives. In other words, UA, we were unaccomplished in 2020, and then you neatly underline. So now with this, we are going to transfer whatever objective you couldn't achieve in 2020 to 2021, and we have to do that before we think of setting new objectives for 2021. As I said, except that you don't need those objectives you couldn't accomplish any longer. For me, I want to get a car, and I have to transfer that objective to 2021. So the number for that is number 1. So let me indicate that with 1. So now number 2 was to start my own business. I couldn't accomplish that, so let me indicate that with number 2. Number 3, I wanted to read 20 books by the end of the year. I read not more than 10, so I couldn't accomplish that. This means that I have to still pursue this objective. So let me indicate it. So I wanted to start my channel. I did, and I don't need to transfer that here. If I want to probably have an objective for my channel, then I should be thinking of the number of subscribers I want to have in 2021 and the number of videos I want to post. That should come with another plan. But this is a general 2021 success plan I want to show you. You can use the same format to plan for whatever thing you want to do. Whatever specific thing or specific objective you want to ensue in. So I could establish a free blog, and then what else? Buying a laptop. A new battery for my laptop. So 8. So these are basically the 4 objectives I couldn't accomplish in 2020, and I'm going to pursue them in 2021. I'm not going to throw them away. I have to pursue them because they really mean a lot to me. So now that I have transferred whatever I couldn't accomplish in 2020 to 2021, the next thing I have to do is to actually pick them one after the other and find out why I couldn't achieve the set objectives. So discovering the reasons will enable me to come up with interventions to make them realities in 2021. So for example, let's say I couldn't start my own business. I wanted to do that in August 2020, but that wasn't possible, and I still haven't established my own business. I'm working for the government, you understand? So that objective wasn't achieved. So now I have to try to find out the reason why I couldn't achieve this objective, which is starting my own business. If it is because I did not have money to start, then I have to write what I think can be done to have money to start in 2021. You understand? So that boils down to what we call the interventions. So getting the reasons will help you discover the interventions or the actions you have to put in place to get the business started. So you do same for all the other objectives you couldn't accomplish. So the number 3 is to read 20 books. So you have to discover the reason why you couldn't read 20 books. Is it because you couldn't get money to buy? Is it because you couldn't download PDFs of the books you wanted to read? Is it because your work schedule was too tight? You have to find out the reason. And then when the reason is found, you can develop interventions to achieve or to pursue this objective in 2021. I think you are following suit. So you just have to go by the same format. So now we are at the 7th step. You understand? That is to discover the reasons, and then that will help you find interventions. So you go to the 8th one, which is to buy a new battery for myself. So I don't know the objectives you couldn't achieve on your side, but in whichever way, I believe that you couldn't achieve all your objectives, and as a matter of fact, there may be some you have to transfer to 2021. There are some you wouldn't want to pursue again. It all boils down to your preference. But then for me, I still want to get a new battery for my laptop. So what I have to do here is to discover the reason why I couldn't buy the battery, and then with that I would develop the actions to get it. So maybe I actually rallied other things above getting a new battery. My money went into something else, and that couldn't get me a new battery, or I couldn't manage my money enough to get a new battery. So this time It's either I try saving an amount of money, let's say maybe 20 cedis a month or 10 cedis a month, and I still have to also discover how much the battery cost, and that will help me. So all this boils down to discovering the reason why you couldn't buy the battery, and then you come up with intervention. So you state the intervention, you state the reason, and then you state the interventions you think can be done to make sure that you get the battery. So what I want to also add is that since, or let me say, when you are done with the old objectives which you couldn't achieve in 2020, you have to rule a line, separate that from the new objectives you want to set for 2021. Others may advise that because there are some objectives in 2020 you couldn't accomplish, you don't need to set new objectives. But I don't believe in that. Every year comes with its own ups and downs, and there are new things that may come up that call for new ideas and new objectives and new goals to be set. You have to direct your life towards a certain point. You understand? You must actually plan to get to a certain destination, the destination you have always wanted to be. And that is why it's necessary you also have to factor in your new objectives for 2021. So what I will have to do is to give the new objectives a new heading, like let's say new objectives. So here the actual impression here is that once I perceive the transferable objectives, I also look at the new objectives as well. So one, what do I want to do in 2021 that wasn't factored in 2020? So for me, maybe I want to marry. I want to actually marry. So now you have to actually plan for this. What are the actions you are going to put in place to make sure that you marry? So now with the actions, you have to discover one, how much you will need to marry. How much money is required. So you have to also discover when you want to marry, and that boils down to time. And that boils down to time, because your objective should be specific. It should be smart. It should be time bound. You should back it with time. Most people aren't able to achieve their objectives because there's no set time for the objectives to be achieved. They just state it like that. Such objectives are considered vague. They are invalid. So let's say I state I want to marry. So the question is, when do I want to marry? Who do I want to marry? And how much is involved when it comes to marrying, or when it comes to marriage? You understand? So you have to discover all this. You have to also know how you do it, whether you are going to do a traditional wedding or whatsoever. You have to plan for that. You have to give in your actions, and your actions should contain how much. Should contain the time when you want to actually undertake such thing. So let's say I want to marry. How much do I want to need to marry? Let's say 20,000. When do I want to marry? Let's say in the middle of 2021, which is June. And how am I going to do it? So now, do I start telling people about my marriage plans? Do I start giving out my invitation cards and all of that? So those are the manners or the modes with which you are going to make sure that at the end of the day, or by the time the year goes to an end, you are married. So my second objective for 2021 is to learn how to drive. So maybe I don't know how to drive and I want to learn it. So this is my objective. I must draw the actions to make sure that I learn how to drive by the end of 2021. So here you have to actually discover when you want to do that, and that is the time. How you want to do it. So the manner or the mode with which you are going to learn how to drive. Will you be attending a driving school, or you just have to see a friend who is good at that for him or her to teach you, or whichever way. That is the manner. It's up to you to discover that. And then where, if you want to attend a driving school, where do you want to do that? Because there are so many driving schools around, and if you want a friend to do that for you or to help you drive, maybe you might have different friends who are good at driving. Which of them do you want to help you learn how to drive? So all this boils down to the action, and the actions are usually referred to as interventions. So now that you have set your objectives for your new objectives for 2021, there's one last thing I would recommend. There's one last thing I would recommend, and that is to let me say that once you are here, once you state your new objectives for 2021 and develop the actions you take to undertake them, then you are almost through with your 2021 success plan. Now the last thing I recommend is this: you make sure that you paste the plan on the wall or on any other place you can see every day. Seeing the plan every day reminds you to work smart towards achieving them. That is very, very important. So after I draw up my plan, I make sure that I paste them close to the wall so that anytime I wake up in the morning, I can see it. And then seeing it reminds me of what I have to do. So let's say I want to marry in 2020, somewhere in June. Now the actions have been stated. I know the amount I have to fixing to get married. I know when to do that, and the actions are there. So anytime I see it, it reminds me, it tells me that I have to do something to achieve this particular objective. So that is why I recommend that you don't keep your plan, the plan on the sheet of paper in your bag, or you don't keep it in a book. Paste it nicely on the wall, and then make sure that you see it every day. Make sure that you read through every day. This is really helpful. This is indeed helpful. I believe I have said a lot, and whatever I have said here, I know is going to change your life in one way or the other. I want to know your comment. I want to know what you think about what I have said over here. Maybe you may have a different perspective, or you may want to share with us a new way of drawing your plan. You have a new way of drawing your own plan. I want to know in the comment section. I always want to learn from people, just as I also want to give out the knowledge I have. So leave your comments in the comment box below. And then I want to also remind you that if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure that you click the subscribe button so that anytime I upload a new video, you'll be the first person to get it. And if this video has been very, very helpful to you, I will entreat you to share to as many people as you can. I believe that doing this may go a long way to change somebody's life. I need you to do this for me, and I'll be very, very much appreciative. Thank you very much in advance for sharing and then liking and then giving us your comments. Hope to see you in the next video.